June 11th, 2015. A day that will live in furry infamy. The release of the Zootopia teaser trailer.
That is an animal.
How do I best describe furries' reactions to it?
Animals in Zootopia are anthropomorphic.
That's pretty accurate right there. Best day of furry Twitter ever. And why wouldn't we be excited? This was a major studio taking the furry concept on a scale we haven't seen with a story that most of us never expected. And we furries just ate it up cause furries are whores. For content, what fandom isn't? Whether you're as niched as Star Trek or as extensive as anime, we are all ravenous for new content to interact with the communities we built around them. But there's a major difference with the furry fandom over others. We don't have canonical media. What the hell do I mean by that? If you look at any fandom, you will find many shape themselves around certain media that they identify with. You got obvious ones like Star Trek and bronies, but it's also present in larger groups. Fantasy has the works of Tolkien, Martin, and Jordan. Sci-fi, Asimov, Bradbury, and Dick. Comics have Batman to Spider-Man. Anime with the works like Cowboy Bebop, Full Metal Alchemist, Naruto, My Hero Academia, etc., etc. It would be hard to imagine any of these fandoms existing as they are without these works. For better or worse. Yet the furry fandom seems to be the one exception to the rule. Ask any furry what got them into the fandom, and you will find dozens of different stories. For some, it was the works of Disney or Warner Brothers. Others, a TV show. Maybe it was a video game or book series. And then there are others who just stumbled across someone's original character through a Fursuit Friday tweet. As Mike Runetta once pointed out,
the furry fandom is not organized by one particular piece of media or even canonical definition of what a furry is. It is at once singular and diasporatic. In a sense, it is more remote, more far-flung, more fluid than a standard fandom.
Which makes furries like me sluts. For stories. Like Zootopia. I love discovering furry stories on all levels. Though we haven't really seen anything like Zootopia since its release. It made over $1 billion, Disney. You know furries are the reason why. Where's our goddamn sequel? But as the harlot I am, I went looking for more to fill the void. And my search has led me to find a manga many are saying it's kinda like Zootopia, but taking its basic premise and creating a truly unique story that, furry or not, you need to read. And thank God, it's finally being released in the States. I'm really excited to talk about this. It's only 2 volumes in, but this is now one of my favorite series. This is Beastars. And yes, I want to fuck the wolf. So what is Beastars? Beastars is a Japanese manga with story and art by Paru Itagaki and assistant artists Moimoya and Kaku Mitsu. Pretty sure I pronounced all that wrong. And yes, Paru is always in a chicken head. Always. Paru's first serialized work, it began in September of 2016 and in the 3 years since has become one of the most critically acclaimed, award-winning, and best-selling mangas in recent years. Just in 2017, Beastars was the second best-selling manga for male readers, only being outmatched by The Promised Neverland, which is not bad company to have. Then in 2018, it started to take all of the awards, winning a new Face Award at the Japan Media Arts Festival, the new Creator Prize at the Tezuka Osumo Cultural Prizes, won Best Shonen Manga at the Kodansha Manga Awards, and the prestigious Manga Tasio Awards. Now I know I pronounced some of those wrong. I know most of those words may mean nothing to you, but trust me, these are some of the biggest honors a manga can get in the industry. And now is about to have an anime adaptation, which is something. Woof. We'll get to that later. So what is Beastars even about to garner all this recognition? Well, as Paru puts it, Beastars is an animal manga that is a human drama. And I didn't just blurt out this contradiction because I'm nervous. That's not a contradiction? Let me go a little more in depth. Welcome to Cherrington Academy, an integrated boarding school where carnivore and herbivore come together to learn. But fear strikes the campus when the alpaca, Tem, is murdered by a mysterious carnivore, the gravest sin one can do in this world. The act has brought out everyone's mistrust in each other, but one, a member of the drama club, is singled out, Lugosi, who... God damn, I love his entrance so much. So sinister and menacing, like something out of a horror movie, and boy, his body sure matches the murderer's silhouette. And Tem said they were classmates. I'm sorry, where was I going with this? I promise, I'll finish what you couldn't. Okay, that's a little concerning. Oops, I forgot my watch. I must have left it in the rehearsal studio. How could I do that? Girl, are you asking to be... Oh shit. I needed to be alone with you. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I can't believe I'm about to die! Wait, what? It turns out Lugosi only wanted to give her Tem's secret love letter as a way to make peace with a dear friend. You're awkward. But sweet. You frightened me, but I'm grateful. Well, don't judge a book by its cover, I guess. I'll be fine. It's always been like this. I'm used to being feared and hated. I'll survive. Let's start over. This is Lugosi, a shy, gentle gray wolf too painfully aware of his stature, and lighting guy for the award-winning Cherrington Academy Drama Club, led by their handsome and charismatic lead actor, Lewis, a red deer. The death of their fellow actor Tem has put their upcoming production of the play Adler on uneven ground. Lewis wants to use the play as a statement to the killer and the darkness in their world, where herbivores are equal to carnivores. But Wallflower Lugosi will find himself pushed into the spotlight when he comes into contact with a rabbit named Haru, challenging his character as he will begin to face the best and worst of his nature. Now, I may be a little biased, but hear me out. Beastars is amazing. The first volume is one of the best introductions to a manga I've read, and the second builds upon it in ways so goddamn glorious, it can't help but bitch slap you cause it's that good. Itagaki has created a story that is both overly familiar, yet wholly her own. Lugosi is probably one of my new favorite characters who I can relate a lot to his keep your head down, get through the day personality. Surprisingly down to earth, wonderfully fantastical, and utterly relatable. For real guys, you need to read this series, but maybe you need more than just my mad ravings to believe the hype. So, why should you read Beastars? Well, let's start with the obvious. Beastars art is bitch slapping good. But yeah, the first thing you will notice is how Itagaki's art stands out from most other manga titles. The best way I can describe it is that it's rough. The tropes of manga drawing have been talked to death. Big eyes, crazy hair, wait, she's how old? However, the most common aspect you'll find are the nice clean lines. Most manga, whether it be a slice of life, action shonen, thriller, mystery, fantasy, you will find the characters are drawn cleanly, usually going rough for comedic bits and action scenes. That's not to say they are all the same, but it's an aesthetic you will find going through the shelves. Beastars, however, doesn't have that clean character line look. Instead of having clean strokes, Itagaki's lines are more... I'm struggling to find the right word, but rough. They bump and curve in ways you don't usually see, the thickness of the lines changing across a character's body. Part of that is because Haru is drawing animals over humans, which opens her up to create unique anatomy from the students' different sizes to the way their fur moves about. But if anything, it shows Haru's attention to detail so that regardless what characters we are focused on, they will always stand out. Though if you ask me, what takes Beastars to the next level, then you have to look at the shading. From the crisscross lines on students' clothes to the splashes of gray around a character, the shading combined with the line work brings more detail to the world and that roughness. I'll be honest, the first page, in my opinion, is a very jarring image. It was a rough introduction. Rough. But once you get past that, you will find some of the most beautiful art that makes Beastars stand out from its peers. which doesn't make me too optimistic with the anime adaptation, but we'll get to that later. On top of the art, you also get... Tell me if you've heard this one. You're reading a manga, you're engrossed with the story, going through the pages like potato chips, but then, wait, did I skip a page or two? Finding your immersion broken when you realize that, no, you haven't. I've always found the pacing of manga to be pretty hit or miss. Sometimes I find they can go too fast for me to really get invested with the characters, or can move at a snail's pace that you get bored and move on. This isn't in all manga, and sometimes that's just my subjective feelings while reading, but good composition can be the difference from someone liking a work to someone loving a work. There are many that are able to compose and pace their chapters that way, and Beastars is one of the best I've seen. Everything just feels right. It doesn't rush through nor drag itself out. Every panel never feels out of place, whether it's dialogue heavy for exposition, quiet parts to let character reactions have weight, building up to great splash pages and bitch slapping moments. Seriously though, the layout of the pages are just spectacular. They are a work of art unto themselves. That's surface level though. Great art and great page layout are important, but they can only take you so far. None of that would add too much without the characters, aka that gay energy. At this point, I'm a broken record, but the characters are amazing. Beastars is setting itself up to have a large cast from the members of the drama club, Legosi's roommates, other school clubs, but within these 2 volumes, there are 3 that stand out. Well, technically 4, but we'll get to him. I've already covered a bit about our lead Legosi as the shy carnivore just trying to get by without causing too much trouble, which is in direct contrast to Lewis, the confident red deer. He's not so much the villain or even antagonist of the series, as far as we've seen, but he is Legosi's opposite in every way. Lewis is driven to become the next Beastar, basically this world's version of a hero. Get it? Who can transcend the discrimination and become a force for change. Lewis is already on the path to become one as the popular and confident actor he is, standing tall for all to see, while Legosi is hunched over because he doesn't want to draw attention that he's usually the tallest figure in the room. But under all that bravado, we see Lewis is more self-centered than he lets on. He doesn't do anything that isn't beneficial for him. Sometimes he's direct about it, and other times he's not. This creates a unique dynamic between the two as Legosi begins to wonder what he wants to stand for in life, especially when he has his encounter with Haru. Haru is the other principal character, though her story is more a mystery. Overall, we see her as a small, confident, takes no BS girl, but she's been recently going through some scandal about being, well, a slut. Their words, not mine. Mainly driven by this mean girl, Mizuki, a Harley Quinn rabbit, which is a real species, how about that? Of Haru sleeping with her boyfriend, making her an outcast, though as later chapters progress, she may not be as innocent as we are led to believe. Oh wow. Is she? Yep. Oh, this book is going to get horny, isn't it? Again, there's still a lot we do not know about Haru, or why she does the things we see. But when she and Legosi cross paths, it brings into question Legosi's own identity. Where at one point, he almost gives in to his nature, and how much shame it brings him that he was that close to embracing it. This is why Legosi keeps his head down, which makes others, like fellow actor Bill, loathe him for not embracing his status as a carnivore. While for Lewis... Okay, this is completely subjective and has no basis in the story, but dear God, is Lewis so gay for Legosi. Lewis wants Legosi to own his power as a gray wolf more as a challenge to show how he's not another herbivore. But there are some scenes where you can't help but think this obsession isn't a little bit sexual. I mean, look at this. Look at this. You can't tell me that there isn't some homosexual tension radiating from these. Hell, Lewis at one point basically asks Legosi to start voring him. Oh God, is that an actual thing in this world? And honestly, I'm all for it. I want so badly for Legosi and Lewis to be boyfriends, even though I know the story is pushing Legosi and Haru and the whole carnivore herbivore forbidden romance. I'm biased, okay? I like gay furries, and can you blame Lewis? Look at this wolfy boy. He's so sexy. How can you not? He's 17. FBI, open up! The world building. Not much to say here. I just like the little details Itagaki takes in building the world. From food plants, stairways, bathrooms, little details she explores in silly comics at the end, the little touches you can easily miss if you're not really looking, but when you see them, shows how much thought Peru has taken in bringing this animal world to life. Much like another, okay, let's get this over with. It's not Zootopia. So I've been talking about a story of an animal world where herbivores and carnivores live together, but are distrustful due to fear and stereotypes. Hey, does this sound familiar to anyone? There's no getting around this. Beastars' premise has a lot of crossover with Zootopia's, but that comparison is inevitable. We do that all the time when we want to get someone to try something new. Hey, you should try X. It's like Y, but with Z. I don't have a problem with people comparing Beastars with Zootopia, but I do raise an eyebrow when they start saying it's the better Zootopia because it's darker and violent, and its prediction of prejudice is done the right way, and I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about? Seriously, saying Beastars is the better Zootopia is such a shallow read. Yes, both are about discrimination and prejudice. Yes, both feature animals. And that's where the comparisons stop, because they take those core concepts and build them out in different ways. If anything, I would say Beastars has more in common with Black Sad than it does Zootopia, and all three cover the topic of prejudice differently. Black Sad is a detective noir that directly compares its subjects to animals. Zootopia does it as a broad metaphorical theme as a police procedural, and Beastars does it as a slice-of-life drama. And guess what? They don't work 100%! Black Sad can be all over the place with what animals equals what group. Yeah, when you directly compare real life to Zootopia, its message fumbles, even though it was echoing a broader point. And while I don't have anything to say about Beastars, yet, I wouldn't be surprised if it stumbles at some point. It's like these were made by human hands or something. Basically, I don't see why this has to be a competition of who did it better when both tackle the subject in different ways we can both enjoy. You can be critical and still enjoy both. I'm just saying. Hell, when you think about it, isn't Beastars just another slice-of-life school manga around a drama club? Only with animals? And if you read the series, you know that's besides the point, cuz there's more to know. There's a lot about Beastars that is still left up to mystery. We know the world is prejudice, but we don't see how deep this goes. It's about young people finding their identity. It's revealed that every member of the drama club has some dark secret or tragic backstory. They explain that it's to bring their life experiences to their work to act as a reflection of the world. But that means Lewis and Lugosi have something in their past we haven't been shown yet. Why they are who they are. Hell, while the book shows Lugosi is a gentle guy, that's not to say that maybe he was the murderer. Ooh. Then there's Haru. It's clear the two are going to be more involved with each other, most likely in a romantic way, which breaks my little gay heart. But again, it's playing the long game. That's what makes reading Beastars so fun. Just in these 2 volumes, which I'm calling the Adler arc, it has given us a glimpse into this world with characters you want to learn more about and see where their journey will take them. Just reading the synopsis of the 3rd volume has me hyped, let alone what big ideas Peru has waiting for us. If I haven't made it clear, Beastars is an amazing series and one I hope more people get behind, especially with the anime coming out, which I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't know why they decided to give the CG anime treatment to it. To me, it smooths out the roughness of Haru's art. Also, most TV CG anime don't have the best reputations, but it's being done by Orange, who made Land of the Lustrous, aka the one good CG anime. So I have some hope. There are points I'm like, wow, this might actually work. But others, oh no, no. Like I said, cautiously optimistic. At the very least, we can get some fresh memes out of it. Hopefully, I'm wrong, and Orange will bitch slap me with its brilliance. Seriously, furries, if you don't make this into a meme, I don't think we can be friends. We'll just have to see on October 8th. It got picked up by Netflix. I'm going to have to wait another year to see it, aren't I? At the very least, Peru, from one furry, please make Lugosi gay!